first sound is the hush before the crowd breathes. Then the thud of bare feet on polished wood. A single figure stands in the circle of light, spine straight as a drawn bow, breath steady as prayer. Around her, even the air holds its breath. And you can almost hear her heartbeat. It is not the roar of an army that begins this tale, but the quiet rhythm of one woman's will. Her name was Larisa, born by the wide river of Kherson, in a land that would one day be called Ukraine. Long before banners of victory rose for her, she danced, a child of grace and stillness, of poised hands and turned feet. But when the doors of her ballet school closed, fate turned her path. The dance became flight, the stage became the sky. Gymnastics found her, and soon the world learned her name. The year 1956. Melbourne, the games beneath the hot Australian sun. She was 21, all muscle, calm and molten fire. A newcomer from a new empire, standing before the world. When she leapt, she seemed to rise from the earth itself, each movement carrying the memory of music. Gold followed her, 4 times gold, 1 time silver, 1 time bronze. Yet even perfection can cast a shadow. There, on the narrow beam, 4 inches wide, a bridge between triumph and fall, she trembled. 1 slip, 1 breath too heavy. She finished 4th. 4th, a number that meant nothing to others, but to her it was a wound. That night, the flame of defeat burned colder than the metal's shine. But Larisa did not turn from it. She studied it, she listened to it, and she learned the smallest, quietest truth. Perfection is not born from brilliance, but from correction. So began her Kaizen, the art of constant, gentle change. Each night, she wrote her tasks before sleep, a small act of faith in tomorrow. Each morning, she trained to erase the smallest flaw, a bent wrist, a wavering breath. The beam that once betrayed her became her teacher. Balance became her meditation. Fear became form. She would stand before her routine, eyes closed, toes pointed, still as a statue carved from calm. Then she would move, and with her, time itself would move too. By the next games in Rome, she had tamed the beam's cruel whisper. Gold again, silver again, bronze again. This time, not a single mistake left unmastered. But even the surest river meets a mountain. In Tokyo, 1964, a new name rose. Vera Czeslavska from Czechoslovakia. Swift and fearless, Vera turned the sport toward higher, riskier heights. Larisa, 29, stood at the edge of her reign, watching the younger world leap higher than she could. The crown slipped. Vera took the all-around gold. The hall erupted. The new queen had come. And yet, Larisa smiled, for she understood something deeper than conquest. When the tide turns, you do not fight it. You learn its rhythm. She turned inward to her oldest strength, artistry. She wove grace into geometry, made elegance her rebellion. Where others tumbled in fury, she floated like a flame unshaken by wind. On the floor of Tokyo, her final dance began, a slow, measured story told through breath and motion. The music rose, her arms carved light from air, and at the end, the last tumbling pass, she landed, utterly still, not a footstep astray. That perfect landing saved her the fraction of a point that separates greatness from immortality. Gold again, her third on the floor, her final as the Queen of Motion. 18 medals she gathered across her journey, 9 gold, 5 silver, 4 bronze. For nearly 50 years, no human would surpass her. And yet, when asked what mattered most, she never spoke of numbers. She repeated her teacher's words. It does not matter in which position you finish. The most important thing is doing what you can. It was never about winning. It was about doing the work, every day, with care, with patience, with love. After the cheers faded, Larisa became a guide, the quiet hand shaping new champions. Under her watch, her country soared again and again. She built champions and designed the stage itself, the Olympic floor of Moscow, 1980, not to stand upon it, but to let others fly. And in the quiet years that followed, when the metals dulled and echoes faded, Larisa Latynina remained what she always was, not a collector of victories, but a keeper of process. Her story reminds us greatness does not burst forth like lightning. It flows like a river wearing down stone. Each repetition, each note remembered, each small correction made without fanfare, these are the true seeds of triumph. If you listen closely, you can still hear it. The whisper of chalk on the bar, the thud of a perfect landing, the breath between balance and fall. It is the sound of Kaizen, the heartbeat of a life lived in motion, not chasing perfection, but becoming it, one flawless moment at a time.